muhimu aliyejali hahitaji kuheshimiwa. You know, this is one of Israel Mboni's songs that I really love. I don't own the rights to music. This is courtesy of Israel Mboni. Malengo ya Mungu. Let me just forward it to the chorus. Ninajua yangu malengo ni mema, sio mabaya, ili niwape matumaini ya siku zijazo. Mwambieni mwenye huzuni, tulizeni wenye majeraha, waambieni waje waone tuna Mungu mwingi wa upendo. Alitukuta tukigagaa dhambini, akatutoa, katuosha na kutusafisha, akatuahidi uzima wa milele. You know the reason why I love this song? It's the assurance that God has a purpose in our lives. You know, even as we start off the year, Malengo ya Mungu. These are God's plan that no human can actually cancel God's plan upon your life. And just chaining into what the national conversation has just been happening on, you know, schools, on the regional schools, the national school. I want to set it right here. When I schooled in Nairobi, and there was no way I was going to join another school outside Nairobi. Many years ago, schooling in Nairobi meant I was supposed to be admitted or even be selected to join one of the Nairobi schools. That happened. I actually got three options, which I really can't remember. But I really wanted to join Moi Girls Nairobi, because, you know, my friends were in that school. But because that did not happen, my grades were not bad. My grades were good. And courtesy of my auntie Saida, she did help to secure a school for me in Maragoli, and that is Keve Girls. But then Keve Girls was one of the lucrative or even one of the best regional, but those days it was one of those very good provincial schools, which every parent really wanted her daughter to be admitted in. However, for me, Keve Girls was a school where we grew up, we studied together, we cared for each other. And we had a regional representation. We had students from Cumberland, Somali, we have Luos, we had Kisses, not just in the school, but also in my class. We had all tribes. And for us, I really don't think tribe was really subject for discussion, because we were there to support each other, and the main objective was to study. I think later on, recently, when schools were being, upgraded, Keve Girls was one of the schools in Western that was upgraded to a national school. And for me, is looking at it back those years, that it should actually be more inclusive, outgrow the number that used to be admitted, admit more Kikuyus, admit more Somalis, admit students from Lamu, because that is the only way education is going to make sense. We learn not just in classrooms, but we learn holistically. It is learning how other cultures behave. It is learning and knowing that we have people from, from Wajir, from Mandera, from Garissa, from Lamu. I'll be so happy knowing that Keve Girls is now having students from those remote villages in northeastern and even in the coastal region. And for me is, the journey from their homes to Keve Girls. How many counties are they going to pass through? And how many things are they going to admire and wish that I can still change my village from what it is to how these villages look like? It's about exposure, because exposure, it really provides us with a social learning, behavioral learning that we cannot be taught in school. It is using the expressway, it is using the promised road, the western road. It is seeing, not just reading about Lake Victoria, but having a personal, go there, let them touch that water. I know that this is how Lake Victoria looks like. It is that students coming from Homa Bay, going all the way to Kenyatta High School, or even going to Meru, to Meru High School, just seeing that how Mount Kenya really looks like. So it is not just about regional school, because I think we really need to analyze the history behind these schools. How did they come to be? Why is it that we have many national schools in this particular region and not, this other region? Because I think once we understand that, we don't need to reach a point where we will be discussing schools because of region. I think we should allow our children to have an opportunity to see how this beautiful country looks like. We should not define our children. You've grown up in Kapchemgum. You are from Kapchemgum village. You've gone to Kapchemgum ECD. You've gone to Kapchemgum High School, primary. You've gone to Kapchemgum junior secondary school. You've gone to Kapchemgum senior school, and then you go to Kapchemgum Polytechnic or even Ainabkoi, technical school. I think we should not really make our student or even our younger brother and deny them an opportunity to crisscross the country because we were not able to experience that. I think that is very wrong. We need to allow them and promote, this crisscrossing of, counties, because this is the only way we are going to start nurturing a generation that tribe and region will not mean anything to them, because I think we need a more united nation, and we cannot touch the education system, because the moment we touch education system, what will happen? Because today we are discussing about high schools. Are we ready to now start discussing tertiary colleges? Are we now ready to discuss university? Does it mean that people in Nairobi are going to chase students or even not admit students joining University of Nairobi? Or is it that the central region will not be allowing students to join Kenyatta University or go to Meru University, Chuka University, Muranga University? Are they really going to disallow or even not admit students because they are not coming from that region? I think this is not really fair to students and even individuals who want to learn from a particular region. We need to be very sober that even as we discuss education, one thing I always say, we cannot politicize education, because education is the backbone of everything. You cannot have people who are ignorant because we define them in a particular region. So I think for me, we really need to have a very honest discussion on education, because we will not be able to manage ignorance when it happens. And I believe we will still come out of it, Yeah, it's not right. Abudu masanamu ayelewa majina motoni tapita. Hey, and Happy New Year, by the way. Sitaogopa kamwe, Mungu wangu wanishika mkono. Sina